Welcome to News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery.
Welcome to the West Texas View. I'm Johnny Lou Avery, and Judy Warren, who was here last week, has come back again this week, and we're really pleased to have her because we were talking about a very deep and serious subject, a subject that a lot of people just wish would go away. They don't want to talk about it. But this is something that we cannot sweep under the rug, and it's talking about HIV and AIDS and how there is a resurgence from the 12 and 13 and 14-year-olds all the way up to midlife, where people have been living with the virus inside them, and now it's full blown. And the young people just do not understand or realize the seriousness of this disease, and that it often means death. And at the very least, even with our new medical advances, it means that there's a lot of damage done not only to that person but to other generations. But in the meantime, they're also infecting other people. So Judy, who just got back from an international conference and learned more about what's happening worldwide, not only in what's happening with the spread of the disease or the control of the disease, but also what's happening in the medical advances. And one of the things that has come out of that is a worldwide plan to try to have a roadmap to controlling the HIV and AIDS situation. And it's really in three parts. It's to stop babies from being born infected. And number two, it's to lower the risk to young people, and that means from puberty up, and that people who already have HIV would receive life-saving treatment. So that's a wonderful plan worldwide, but it costs money. Last year, $16.8 billion was spent in AIDS support in poor countries, and America spent $5.6 billion of that. So, Judy, thank you so much for coming back today, and let's continue the conversation we started last week. And you were talking about going into the schools and the kind of response you got from the young people, that many of them were just shocked, but also they did not show any form of not listening and being aware of what you were saying.
No, in fact, many of them cry when they hear us. I tell my brother's story, show them pictures of my brother on his wedding day, and then a few years later in a wheelchair, wasting away and blind, and he had lost his mind and everything. And so we put a face to this disease for them and help them know that this can happen to them. They're not immune to this. In fact, I hold my brother's picture up. He looks like a 90-year-old man, and he was barely 30, and right before he died, and I asked them, what was his crime? What was all of these young people, what were their crimes, you know? He had sex.
But he had a death sentence from that.
But he had a death sentence from that, and I tell them how different their world is to any world we've ever had before. Our young people don't know this. It's the only world they've ever known. They don't think anything about turning the TV on and hearing them talk about having sex or having sex.
And there's a pill to cure everything.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there's not.
Well, and the message that's being given to our kids today is that everything's okay today. In fact, it's telling our kids' brain, I tell them, you're being brainwashed and you don't even know it through TV, video, music, everything. It's telling our kids that you're not cool if you're not doing these things. But what the messages are not telling our kids is that if you go and do the things that are so accepted today, you can die. And
or lead a life of misery. There's some things worse than death.
Right, right. I want to reference something that you read before you introduced me. One reason it is so costly today to run an organization like ours, and one reason we need more funds today, is because with the new medicines, people are living longer. We have more people living with AIDS today than we ever have since the beginning of this epidemic. So that's why we have more clients. They're living longer and they can't work. They're sick, many of them. Now, some of them go back to work with the new medicines, give them a renewed life. But many of them can't work and they're living longer and they're needing longer and more help from organizations like ours. So I thought that might be important to point out. When I attended the international conference in Washington, D.C., I heard many speakers from President Clinton and Hillary Clinton and the Bushes and so many wonderful speakers. And they stress that today, if someone knows they have AIDS, if they take their medicines just right, and that is of the utmost importance, if they take their medicines just right all the time and they eat right, they get plenty of rest, and they don't drink or smoke, they can add 50 years to their life. They still need help through those 50 years. They've got to take those medicines, and they're very, very expensive. But that is why, if we're ever going to put a stop to this, we've got to get young people and anybody who's done anything, you know, to go be tested to find out, because they're not going to have symptoms for a long time.
And the damage is insidious. It's already being done.
Oh, it's already being done. But if they get on the medicine, they can live longer, and if they're not spreading it to other people, then we can possibly, as it was pointed out at the international conference, see in our lifetime an AIDS-free generation.
And that's got to be what we work for.
Yes.
But now tell me this, is the, we talked last Sunday about the oral sex that the young people are all involved in now, being, producing a different kind of HIV called the papilloma.
Human
papilloma. So is this worse than HIV or as bad or what?
No, it's not worse unless you get, it can kill you though, if you get one of the strains that can go into cancer. But there are vaccines today. They even have a new vaccine.
So that's why it's so important for those young people to go be tested.
Yes.
We're going to have to take a break right now. We'll be back in just a minute and continue this conversation.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.